Rattlers. Everywhere we go, people wanna know
what they want to know.
who we are.
You know, it's funny. It's funny, Marcus. It's funny that he started singing. I was gonna break into "I'm So Glad," but he goes whole. I love it though. I love it that we just may come out of every break singing songs. That's just how this one's gonna be today. So, welcome to a live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. Feeling like $1,000,000, still feeling good, still wearing orange and green. Still feeling good about Sunday night victory. Marcus is running, getting stuff. What do you got, Marcus? Kelvin sing a song. Marcus is what do you went to go get? What is that? Popcorn? Marcus has got the popcorn. Man, I tell you what, man, it's a beautiful day to be a Rattler.
Hey.
What is that tea? Drinking the tea, man. I tell you what, we are. It feels good to open the season with a victory, and that's what we had down in Miami Gardens, 28-10 victory over Jackson State to watch the 2023 season literally kick off with a bang. And so, wow, hopefully, want to encourage everybody. Thank you for first off tuning in to the ONG Strike Zone. Those of you we saw down in South Florida, it was good to see you.
Yes.
Took some pictures with some folks, and just spreading the love because that was a big win in so many ways, and it felt good to be in the post game presser and talk to coach and just kind of reiterate that feeling that so many of you, so much of Rattler Nation feels, whether it be Sunday night, Monday morning, still going on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I know we're supposed to be on the USF, but this one hangs like one of them homecoming hangovers where it just kind of take you about 3 days to get over. That's what this
It's amazing how quiet people get when they get their butts whooped, man, and how sensitive they get. Yeah.
It gets real quiet. It gets real quiet on those streets, boy. I tell you what. I love the folks who are keeping receipts though. The Twitter accounts.
Parody Rattler.
Thank you.
Oh man.
He gets an A+.
Jamari Sharif. Oh man, that's the best one by far.
It is. What was the other one, Marcus?
I think Ashton Harris. I think he's got a couple.
I'm telling you, all of you, those.
Oh yeah, and gosh, what's my man? Radical Rattler.
Yeah, if you've been keeping receipts and you've been putting them out there, I know I've been trying to retweet them as much as possible from every site that I got access to, and I would hope you guys too, because we need to flood the marketplace with those. Because how long and how just what you should do, just bookmark. I may go back through his account and just bookmark all of these, because how long do we have to listen to 59-3? Anytime there was any kind of discussion, all them Bemas did was throw out 59-3. All they did was just throw out 59-3. So yeah, I mean,
damn you by 40.
By 40. Where in the shirt? Who put this? Who made this shirt? Hold on.
Chaka Perkins. Duh.
I gotta go to the. Hold on. I may have to go to the split screen here and actually show the shirt. Because this was absolute genius. This was absolute genius. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up for those of you who haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I know Kelvin tweeted it out from his account. Yeah, there it is. The shirt's right there. FAMU by 40.
I got a Chaka. If you own today, I gotta get one, buddy. Let me know.
Hey, we're gonna do something a little different and special, because we haven't had a chance to interact we're gonna give out the link. We're gonna give out the link. We're gonna bring folks who want to come in and talk with us because we don't have any guests today. Look, it's how hype this week has been, and it's been so chaotic. We've been, I know me personally, I bet Kelvin too. We've been just trying to catch up, and so it's like, okay, we just gonna work this out. But you know what? We want to talk to Rattler Nation. This is one of them days where we got to talk to the Rattlers. So coming up a little bit later, we're gonna drop the link, give you a chance. Of course, our JBN members, they get pushed to the line. So if you're a JBN member, you can go ahead and get ready because when that link and when I see your name, I'll definitely put you to the front of the line. Anybody else, never too late to be a part of the JBN membership. All you got to go to youtube.com/myjbn online/join. I know we've had other people join in other ways via some of our other methods, and we're going to try to work those methods out so that they sync up with this. But, obviously, like I said, today we're going to drop that out. And so, yeah, let's go through the roll call real quick. Let's say hey to Rattler Nation who's checked in. Bull, first one in the door, coming in early. Bull said he's ready, coming to South Florida. And so that's going to be a good one this upcoming weekend. Big opportunity for FAMU. Hello, Meredith. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Mary 305. That one had to be a good one down that way. Good to see you, Mary. Thanks for jumping in. M. Mac Webb, 1 down, 12 to go. Strike and strike again. I love the countdown. See, there's a person who's already thinking those 2 postseason games. I love it.
What if that's Rattler Mac?
Tamara T. Boy, I tell you what, checking folks up in the post games and in the post game chats, boy, was not to be played this weekend. Good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Melissa Wilson coming in. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. Kenya, good to see Kenya. We're gonna have some good discussion because Kenya, some good thoughts, some good commentary on the Twitter, and we may when we open up the lines, Kenya, if you're still available, hey, we'd love for you to come on and we can maybe talk about that a little bit as well during this show. James Austin said he was close. He said we would score 31. Yeah, we probably should have scored 31. We definitely should have. No, without a doubt. Dr. Lori, good to see you. And, of course, moderating the chat room. So you guys keep it civil. If you get out of hand, you will get sniped. I'm telling you that now. She is not going to play around with your tails today, especially when we're feeling so good. So I love y'all. We love the interaction. We invite other folks into our house, but don't get crazy. Recognize. First thing, anybody from Jackson State ought to come in and say, congratulations, you were right, we were wrong. All right, now that's the first thing anybody from J State should come in and say. Hey, I don't know where he is. He's done a good job of representing FAMU, no doubt. Chuck Hunt checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. I love it, Chuck. Congratulations to Rattler Nation. I love it. That's what it should be about. Jimmy Mack coming in. Good day to be a Rattler. Yes, indeed. Marcus, good to have you. Good. Thank you for being a JBN member. We appreciate you. Sweet. What up, fam?
Sweet.
Bull, you on that Crown Royal honey, huh? That's good stuff. That's some good stuff. I wonder,
may or may not be.
No telling. Man, oh my goodness, yes indeed. Appreciate that, Tamara. Well, we tried to cover not only the pregame from the tailgate, from the fan zone, but the postgame was fun as well. So again, want to encourage anybody who, if you want, like full in-depth post-game about the game, that's where we talked about it. This show is more so a party celebration. We're gonna get into a few topics. Also try to really set the scene for this upcoming weekend because we do have another one on board. You know, we got another one on board. Wait a minute. So, Bull, you done moved from the honey to the peach, or you just giving us a heads up of what's to come this weekend? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that your interpretation of that, Marcus? When you see that, honey,
Yeah, he's going down all the flavors now.
What's better, honey? If you had just one, Crown Royal honey or Crown Royal peach? That's an interesting dilemma. Interesting dilemma. Keith, good to see you. Fangs Up Podcast. Exactly. That's the new shirt. I'm, idea man here. So whoever wants to come up with it, let us know. So outside of FAMU by fall, that needs to get reproduced. That should be the official game shirt. The other official post-game shirt needs to be this one. Ain't no fun when the Rattler has the gun and just have a snake pointing the gun at the tiger. That's all you got to do. That's an easy seller. Easy seller. Make sure to give Fangs Up Podcast his proper credit because he's the one that came up with it, and we'll help promote the heck out of it. But make sure to give Keith his proper credit because I remember Keith is the one who kind of came up with that idea. All right. There's go one more. Kenneth Rozier in the house.
What's up?
Yeah. So appreciate you guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Road Dogs in the house. ONG
hey,
drink.
Go ahead to Braden Matthews.
Huh?
Go and throw that one right quick.
Wait a minute, where is it? Oh, Braden Matthews. Hey. All right. That's all. Good. All right, Braden. There you go. My man.
No. Respect.
There you go. My man. Good job. Good to see Tony in the house too. I'm trying not to miss anybody, trying to go through the roll call here. Marcus, are you just is this another Marcus or is this you?
Oh, it's me.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm like, hey, Marcus, you're here.
There's only one.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Figures jumped in. Orange helmets and white face. Oh, is that the plan for Tampa?
They just put out. No, I'm surprised they just put out a graphic, and it's showing us in our all green with white helmets and white face masks. And usually, I don't know, it's usually kind of spot on when they do that preview. I know it was last year, even though this year it was kind of thrown off a little bit because the guy that they showed, number 29, I think that's forgotten his name, Cumberbatch. He had on a different uniform set, or at least he had a different helmet than what we wore on Sunday. But everything else. So we'll see. But I don't know why they have us wearing home colors unless USF chose to wear the all white.
Right.
They probably chose to wear the all whites. All right. So just while I'm pulling up a couple of graphics here, Marcus, Kelvin, let's just go some instant thoughts on reactions from the last couple days, maybe some interviews, different comments that you've seen, whether it be from coaches, players, just some general thoughts here while I'm trying to gather up a couple of graphics to lead us into our next conversation.
Go ahead first, Marcus.
Well, I think as a team and as a head coach, Willie Simmons acknowledged that this was good to start off on a good foot, whereas the past 2 years we've already been behind the 8 ball. But I think he's made a point of emphasis, maybe not directly, but to say that this is one step in the journey. So this is one notch in the belt for the 2023 season. So I think he's giving it the proper gravity as it relates to starting off the season right and getting past Jackson State, but not letting that be, as it were, coined by multiple people on the other sideline, our Super Bowl. No, this was our season opening win with a hopeful championship at the end.
Period, point blank. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I get the whole trying to make it bigger than what it is, but, Go ahead.
I was really pleased with the game plan. We stuck with the run. We ran the ball 2 to 3, the ratio. Two out of 3 times we ran the ball, and we ran the ball effectively. Our top 2 backs both rush was averaging more than 6 yards per rush, and I think for the game we averaged about 5 yards per rush with everybody. So we had a very productive game plan, and it set up the pass. You notice when we did go to pass, we had some guys that were open. Now, we didn't take full advantage of our opportunities in the pass game, but we have a formula that would definitely give us a chance to win out. Use the run to set up the pass, play good defense, and we'll probably, from a talent standpoint, this is the first time in probably the last 15 years where we're going into a game against a FBS opponent where I really feel like we have a legitimate shot. We have the depth, we have the talent. We talked about those 42 seniors, redshirt seniors, and grad. So we got the experience. And so, expectations are rightfully high. And we have a reason to be optimistic. Now, we still got to play at a optimal level. We still have to execute. We still have to come up with a game plan. But we know going into this game, I know the coaches and the players feel the same way. We have an opportunity where we can win this game. And so I'm just very excited to, usually from game 1 to game 2 is when you make your most improvement during the season. That's the coaches speak. Typically that's what folks say. So hopefully that's the case with us. And I think if we crank that running game up, score a little early, I don't want to give too much away talking about the Tampa game yet, but I'm excited, man, and I really like what I saw. The only thing I would say about the JSU game is, we've got to take advantage of those opportunities of big plays. We got to hit a bigger percentage of that, and of course we got to fix our field goal kicking, because the rest of the special teams unit was excellent. Our return game was excellent. Our punting was excellent. And I went back and looked at those 2 block field goals, and then I looked at a couple of them that got blocked last year, and I'm starting to question our alignment, how we place those guys on the end. Now, granted, I think Jennings was the guy on one of those plays, and he chose the chip, the outside guy, and let the guy inside that was head up inside of him get through the gap untouched. However, I still think the way we have them turned, you're asking them to do. I think the reason we get so many of those field goals blocked, why people are consistent with it, because we asking players to do things that they probably can't do. We probably need to line him turning a little bit more. They got him almost 90 degree. We probably need to angle him a little more, 70 degrees, and close that gap up. Put that foot right next to that end guy. And remember, you want to stop the guy. The most dangerous person to you is the person that's head up inside first, and you just chip the outside guy. So I'm sure they'll be working on it, because I know all our opponents, they're gonna look at that film and look at our history of getting field goals blocked, and so we got to fix that. But all in all, man, I'm very pleased with the effort we put forth.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, Kelvin, circling back around, I guess for special teams, if I recall, and you may remember, or Brian may remember, maybe even Josh, but I think it's the first kickoff return we had since Marcus Williams, 2019.
2019.
So that was good to get that cranking up in game 1. The second thing about our next opponent, USF, you mentioned all the things we have going for us, but I think having USF as the opponent could be an advantage. They're coming with a first-time head coach, coming off a 1-10, 1-11 season.
Yep.
Don't know how much roster turnover they had, and that's not a guarantee now, because you see, sometimes roster turnover could turn your team's fortunes around. But
right.
If there were any FBS, there's probably a few FBS opponents that would have been ideal candidates in terms of being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything that's going on at USF in terms of coaching change, record, and starting a redshirt freshman, as talented as he may be, that kind of like plays into our hands as well.
Along with they play Alabama next week after us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's tough to get full focus on us, with us being sandwiched right before the Alabama game. So yeah, there's a lot of things in our favor. We just gotta be able to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if their coaches are looking at. We talked about this on the preview podcast that we did. This is a trap game in the stance that if you take us for granted, I hate to use a figure of speech, but we might strike you. you might get snake bit if you take us for granted. So you got to send the message out to your guys that yes, and the coaches are probably telling themselves, yeah, we got to get ready and find a way to get ourselves fine-tuned for Alabama, but we can't sleep on this team. I mean, this team has the third longest winning streak in the country, right, at 10 games. They haven't, they have a long winning streak at home in the state of Florida. They probably had that streak is probably, if you add in the state of Florida, we're, a nice streak as well. So, and it's a team that played USF very well 2 years ago. Who knows how many players are still aboard, but I know the fans hear it. And then if people start to juicing up folks about the history of FAMU coming to Tampa and playing Tampa, well, then you start getting to 1969 and Jake Gaither's last ball game and the historic game that was against the University of Tampa. So it's a lot for USF for a home opener. And we're going to talk about that because it's a very interesting team in terms of tempo. And I was able to ask Coach Simmons about that at his Tuesday press conference. And so found out some interesting nuggets about that. But before we start moving off of this past weekend, I thought I'd bring up just the topic of conversation about attendance from the past week. We wrap up week one. Week one kind of started on Thursday and went all the way until Sunday night. And I know one of the things that has been an interesting topic for a lot of people is the attendance numbers at the Orange Blossom Classic. Because anybody who saw any video of the stands, well, I don't know if Marcus, you tell me, from the video angles, were they mostly pointed where the Jackson State sideline was in the view mostly of the TV broadcast?
It looked like it.
Okay, so that was because the cameras are on the home side. The cameras are on the side where FAMU is. Right.
Yes. That's what it looked. Yeah. I was focused on the game, but when they panned the crowd, it looked a little sparse.
No, it was sparse. No, it was sparse. So obviously FAMU represented. So let's just kind of put it up there. The final attendance numbers came out. It came out a little bit later than what people had expected, because trust me, people were looking for them all day. And they actually came in at 24,967. Which is certainly lower than last year's 39,907, and even 2 years ago when it was between 34 and 35,000. And you heard my predictions. I thought it was, they were trending towards possibly 45. So I was shocked that it was 24,967. Now, in comparison to everything else that went on this weekend, look at these numbers. The Labor Day Classic at Alabama State only drew 22, which is that's a sellout. I mean, let's be real. That stadium probably holds just about 22, maybe a little bit more if they open up the grass seating, or if you had a Tuskegee Alabama State game, right? The Labor Day Classic at Norfolk State, that stadium holds 30,000, so that's pretty good that they got 21,649. The Labor Day Classic in Houston, where FAMU, when they travel to play Texas Southern, that game will be played in that same arena. They threw 18,271, and I think that's about capacity for that stadium. Division II game, the Boeing Red Tails Classic between Fort Valley and Tuskegee, drew, is that 16?
Yes.
Yeah, 16, just over 16,000, 16,123. So interesting that as it relates to this game, the Orange Blossom Classic, disappointing numbers. But in comparison to everything else that went on in HBCU versus HBCU games, it was still the top game. So I just kind of put this out there for discussion, guys. What do you think some of the factors are that contributed to the attendance? And how would you evaluate, this game? And, obviously the OBC says they're going to carry on. They haven't announced who the two teams are. I've been trying my hardest to get some hints as to who it may be, but they're holding that real tight to the vest. What are your thoughts here, Kelvin and Marcus?
First, I'll say I know who they have targeted, who they've approached, but it hadn't been signed off yet.
Do you want to release that? Do you want to say? Because I think I know who as well, but I want to see if we're on the same page.
I'll just say, surprisingly, to some maybe, it could be two SWAT schools.
I've heard that as well. Yes, I've heard that.
So we'll see if they work that out and if they actually agree to that. And if they do, it's going to be because of the money. And I think people equate attendance to the money factor. But what I would say is that because this game has the sports commission and the county commission and all these different sponsors, the network TV, then attendance is not a end all be all. They can still pay the payouts, still be a profitable game because they've done a good job in building relationships. Now, in terms of Jackson State's attendance, it was expected. Brian, we kind of talked about it on and off there, and they had just played in Atlanta, and they had probably 15,000 people in Atlanta. And they play Southern this weekend in Baton Rouge. Those are short drive times. So they had to pick and choose. So I didn't expect them to have that few people. I mean, they really look like Mississippi Valley State over there.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
But I didn't expect them. I knew they weren't going to have the crowd they had last year for sure.
Yeah.
So you had that going on with Jackson State side of things. Folks got to choose what games they go to. They're gonna go to Atlanta. They're gonna go to Baton Rouge versus trying to make this trek all the way down to Miami. In terms of other things, I would say, of course, we had the hurricane that hit the state early in the week, and I think that drove some people to change their mind and not come because they didn't know how much of a hassle would be. I would say probably the heat, the anticipation of the heat, probably drew a few folks away, and they didn't, for whatever reason, didn't look like the local market. There's probably a million and a half to 2 million black people
at minimum
in the three counties in the tri-county area of Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I heard advertisement. I thought they did a pretty decent job of advertising and everything, but for whatever reason, it didn't connect with the local community. So you didn't have a big turnout of the home base, and that was the biggest difference. So
they keep talking about
those are some of the things. Yeah,
they keep people, when you talk about the local, I'm not in that area, but I guess the folks keep saying the time. Maybe that game would have done better at 6 o'clock, and you would have had more local people there than at 3 o'clock. And so I don't know. We've already had that discussion. We understand what would have happened if that game is not played at 6 o'clock. So it really was. But I guess I'm still in shock that the local turnout appears to be as low as it did. That just is shocking to me. But Marcus, any thoughts here? You want to add anything to that discussion here?
Well, I mean, we saw the attendance numbers, we saw the television numbers, and as much. I don't know how much of a correlation, but there is a correlation that, in the absence of a larger than life personality, the numbers went down. I'm not saying that's the only cause or the main cause, but somebody could draw that conclusion that it may not have had the same degree of appeal without a certain personality there to liven it up. Now, it was on the mothership, so it was on ESPN. And so
But
I'd like.
there were challenges to that, though. There were challenges to that being on ESPN.
Yes. And so I would like to see, just to compare numbers, not drawing any conclusions or speculating, just like to see what the ESPN programming last year on the mothership was at 3 o'clock at the same time slot and their numbers. And then I think HBCU Game Day already did the comparison year over year for 2021, 22, and 23 for the ratings.
What were those? If you do you have the access to those? Because I know
Off,
what Mo Carter had tweeted out. Mo had kind of
let me
posted
pull that real
the
quick. But it
numbers.
looks like it's about maybe 45% of what it was last year. Let me see.
Yeah, it was 965,000 last year, and it was like 400 and something.
Yes,
78 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here are the televised HBCU game ratings according to Sports Media Watch. The Jackson State FAMU pulled in 438,000 viewers on ESPN. That's compared to the Morehouse Virginia Union game, which was on NFL Network, only pulled in 168,000 viewers. Grambling and Hampton, which is also on NFL Network, 109,000. And then on ESPNU Sunday night, the Fort Valley Tuskegee game, which was 67,000. Now, in terms of where that put the Jackson State,
I'm looking at the HBCU Game Day article that came out earlier today.
Okay.
So we had 438,000 viewers this year compared to 958,000 last year when it was on ESPN2, which is in markedly fewer households compared to the mothership based on, the cable distribution and all that stuff. And the 2021 matchup, which I believe was also on ESPN2, had 715,000 viewers.
But okay, now in those 2 years though, you didn't have Spectrum, which has how many millions of viewers in not only Florida and Mississippi, and I think there's even another contract that's in a company in the Mississippi region or area that they were having some contract disputes with ESPN. So unlike last year and the year before, you've got millions of people who could not access ESPN. And I mean, you couldn't even access it if you had ESPN Plus. Because trust me, I have ESPN Plus, and because that game was on ESPN, you couldn't catch it. And so you had to go to a bar, or because a bar might have satellite or it might have some other means, YouTube TV, Hulu TV, whatever. And so that's how you had to watch it.
And I think Spectrum is a subsidiary of Charter Communications or Cox or one of those. I read that in some of the articles. So, I mean, this covering, I guess, Spectrum, or my presumption, I don't have it, but Spectrum may be affiliated with the even larger communications company. So we don't know if they've also clipped their ESPN because of the contract dispute over the, I guess, rights fees.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. So, and that's what I was saying. It's not solely because Coach Prime wasn't there. There are other mitigating factors that contributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
But one could at least say, that might have a little something to do with it.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's take a break, come back, and I'm gonna drop the during the commercial break, I'm gonna drop the link to join our show. If you're interested in one, look, you don't have to join our show with your video. We'll go with audio. You don't have to dial in and turn your camera on. But if you want to come in for a couple of minutes and share your thoughts on the past weekend, maybe some thoughts on the game, some reaction from Jackson State fans, or the attendance at the OBC, we'll do all of that here in hour one. So we'll kind of continue on with the theme, and then after hour one, we are moving on to USF and other news. Does that sound good to everybody? All right.
Sure.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's take a short break, come back, and get ready to hear from some of Rattler Nation. Hear from you guys here coming up on the other side. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment. I promise we'll be back in just a moment. Give me a second. Somebody messed with all my timers here. So, all right, let's yeah, exactly. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. A.B. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin here. I messed that. I messed that up here. Let me try that again. I probably messed something up in the link here for everybody, so I'll try it one more time here. Bear with me for a second. Put it in the chat room. You guys go ahead and talk. It is a radio show podcast. So don't just wait on me here. Okay, we'll see if this works. We'll try it again for everybody. So I just put it in the chat. Obviously, JBN members go to the front of the line. You can become a member of the JBN YouTube team here. YouTube.com/myjbn online/join. And that's for all of our folks here.
Brian, I was going to suggest one other thing I think that probably was a factor in terms of the game. And I don't know if the price points in all the different spots are where they need to be yet. Also, I don't know how affordable it is for a family of four or larger as a Labor Day leisure event. So I think you probably have to look at the pricing. I know, like, for instance, the 50-yard line on the home side where they had those premium seats.
Yeah.
There might have been 10 people in that section.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. That section, and I had Mike Reed send me some photos of that. Apparently, he felt like it was overpriced by about $200. I think he said they were going for about $480, just shy of $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just now again, if you're balling and got that kind of dough, that's probably it's probably cheaper than if you were to go to a Miami Dolphins game. Is it the same price as a Miami Hurricanes ticket? I don't know.
I don't know. I just saw something today. I mean, if you're just using it as a comparison, that the Canes are doing a buy one get one free. So if you bought tickets for the Texas A&M game,
Jesus,
this weekend they're throwing in Georgia Tech.
Imagine
you got to remember,
we buy one get one. That's where we're at.
Well, you got to remember that's been a trend in college sports. Well, just in sports in general, even in NFL and in NBA, well, because of streaming services and other things, where they're being more creative, trying to get people in the stadiums, and they're reconfiguring the stadiums. They are decreasing capacity in a lot of places, in order to create more premium spots and get more top dollar. So, I mean, it's not just an OBC issue. It is a legitimate thing, trying to drive people to come to a lot of events. Yeah.
Hey, let's go to our one of our first callers here coming in. We're gonna bring in for a couple of minutes, and it looks like we got Ashton coming in. Ashton, welcome to the ONG, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you doing?
Hey, we doing good,
What's
man.
going on, Ashton, man?
What's
going on, Kelvin? What's going on, Marky?
Doing all right.
What you got for us, man?
What you got for us? What's on your mind tonight?
Man, that sure was fun watching that game on Sunday. I was hyped. I hyped all the way through.
What was your biggest takeaway from what you saw?
Well, my biggest takeaway is that number one, we finally get bragging rights. Number two, we was able to run the ball efficiently. Number three, I was impressed with the defense. Number four, I was a little disappointed in Moose and everything, but I'm pretty sure Coach will get that cleaned up with him, and I'm just ready. Now that we got our first test out the way, now it's time for us to go win out so we can get to the SWAC East title, man. I'm super excited.
What's your take on this USF game? Do you feel like this is a winnable game, or you like, hey, you just don't want to see anybody get hurt? What's your mindset? What do you want to see for this one?
Well, I haven't watched the USF game, so I can't really tell you, but I will say this. According to what I've seen from a lot of folks, the USF is very beatable, but I also don't want if our players get hurt. If we can do both keep our players healthy and go into the mindset win this game, then we'll be good to go.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, Ashton, it looked like you got blocked by some GSU people, man. Talk about the sensitivities.
I just don't see how you can get mad when you came at us with a 59-3 jokes all year, all the way up to this game, all summer long, and now that we turn the tables on you, now you want to get in your feelings. I'm like, you either can dish it or you can't. It is what it is.
I've had many of people from other SWAC schools tell us that now you guys are understanding how sensitive and delusional Jackson State fans are. They say you're fine.
And I got nothing against Jackson State. I love the school. I love their band. I love all HBCUs, man. But come on now, you can do better than that. It's just a football game. No need to get. It's nothing real personal about a football game. You win some, you lose some. It was just y'all had y'all fun over the last 2 years. Well, over the last 4 meetings to be exact. But now it's just somebody else's turn.
True that. True indeed. All right. When's the next game you're gonna be at? When's the next FAMU game you're gonna be at? Home road.
I'm still I'm still debating on the UWF game. I don't know for sure, but I don't know for sure about that game, but I'm definitely gonna be at that Alabama State game.
Okay.
Kevin will see me there.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir. In the O.
But I want to ask, before I go, I want to ask a quick question right quick.
For sure. Go ahead. You got it.
Okay, after that Alabama State game, we got 3 road games back to back and 3 road games back to back. And I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna go, but do you think traveling 3 road games back to back? Now, the good news is we'll get a bye week before that Texas Southern game. But do you think going 3 games back to back could affect them at least a little mentally or something like that?
No.
Like
this, I go back to what I'm gonna hop on this all season. We have 42 seniors, redshirt seniors, grad students. They played a lot of football, so nothing should be able to phase them. They used to playing in front of big crowds and no crowds, right? So I don't expect any difference on the road or at home. In terms of our play.
I'm just making sure because 3 games, trying to win 3 games on the road back to back. That's never easy.
Agreed. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I won't. I'll say this, that by the time we get to that last one, which would be the Texas Southern one, I'll tell you what's a benefit is. Fortunately, there's a bye between the Southern and Texas Southern game. So I think regardless of what happens at Southern, we have a chance to reset ourselves and really treat the second half of the season coming out of that contest. So whatever happens, the bye week creates an opportunity to have a second, a sort of a halftime, a half season, and you get to go into the second half. So if the worst were to happen at Southern, for somehow some crazy reason, you got a chance to reset and refocus everybody. When we beat Southern, you still get a chance to kind of remind everybody, hey, don't take this Texas Southern team lightly, because we've seen what that team can do. I don't know if you got a chance to see any of them against Prairie View, but that's a team who they can score some points, but if it gets away, if they get loose and careless, they'll give you a lot of points too. So I think it's a good spot. Yes, they will do that. They will do that if you let them. So yeah. All right. So hey, great question, Ashton, man. Thank you for watching and thank you for your support, man.
Thank you very much. Long live Kofi, man. We miss him.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Ashton.
All right, Ashton, man. We'll see you in a week or two.
Yeah, man, I tweeted that out the other day, man. I think Tuesday morning is when it hit me, and I'm not ashamed to say I shed a tear or two as I was kind of typing a tweet, and it kind of just hit me that we didn't have that opportunity to have his voice in this celebration. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. He would enjoy that one.
Oh my God! I mean, I don't know what kind of numbers. Look, I don't know what kind of numbers he would have done if we were fortunate enough, because Kofi be everywhere after the game. So I don't know if we would have had him on the post game show. He might have been. I'm just gonna be honest, but I know if he got on the show with Scotty on that Monday, that show, the ratings on that one might have broke the internet. I'm just gonna tell you, it might have broke the internet on that Monday. So I just, it was a tough one, but. There'll be more wins, and we'll put hashtag LL Kofi on those tweets. Anybody else out there, if you want to jump in with us, you don't have to be on the camera. You can be just voice and share us your thoughts. I put the latest link. All you got to do is just scroll up a little bit in the chat. You can jump in, join us on StreamYard. Let us know your thoughts and reactions from the past weekend. Let's quickly maybe go around the horn about just some things. Well, hold on, got another caller wants to jump in, so we'll go right over to our good friend Montre Bennett. Montre, you there?
What's happening?
Hey, doing all right, man. Doing all right.
What's going on, Montre?
Join us. Make sure to turn down any background audio you got. Turn that down for us if you would. But yeah, you should be good. So what's on your mind, Montre? Talk to us.
I just feel like the spirit of Kofi's spirit was all up in that stadium the other day. I see Kofi's shirt 3 times. Myself, you, Brian, and another person. And another person. And I was like, yeah, we brought the spirit of Kofi in here. And fans did what they had to do.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know, we were sitting there, Kelvin, what was it we were talking about? We talked about this. We never really figured out a day to kind of put a plea out to everybody. So, you know, I don't know if it's the blackout game at the end of the year, the last home game, or you know, obviously if we do it too early, it might be kind of hot. But I don't know. We need
homecoming.
That was another game I was thinking about as well. Homecoming.
I'll be up there for that. I want to see the marching storm, see what they got going on.
Yeah, that'll be good. What's you got a takeaway or two? What are your biggest takeaways from the game that you saw?
I'm glad we run the ball more, and I think if we stick to the run game, we'll be very dominant in the SWAC.
Yeah.
Moose will just need to have a little bit more patience. I think he can do the job. A little bit more patience. It's the first game. I give him some grace. Are we playing Miami next year?
Yes.
Heard. And I think that's one reason why we don't do the OBC next year, because we already playing Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm. It would have been back to back.
Right. And I'm
get the money. I'm about that money, man.
Look, me too. But look, I get it. Like the first time people mentioned that we weren't playing, that's the thought that I told people. It was like, I bet you anything somebody is saying, we're already going to be in Miami, and then that's like consecutive possible weeks where we got to be down there. Is it a smart move for us? You know, I bet those were some of the conversations that were had. But I'm with Kelvin. You know, show me the money. Look, hey, think about this, Montre, and anyone who asks. If anybody hasn't heard, Mississippi Valley State went to Chicago to play in the Chicago Football Classic.
That's right.
And if their head coach on the Tuesday press conference, SWAC press conference, when asked, made a point to say it was one of the worst experiences that he's ever been a part of, and he was ashamed. He was apologetic to almost to his players to say, guys, I'm sorry that you had the experiences. He was like, never again on my watch. I mean, so everybody's student athlete experience at these classics is not first class, and so the OBC puts a first class show on. I heard it from players from Jackson State and FAMU. So when we talk about student athlete experiences, OBC is one of the top ones. It's moved up there into the upper echelon. That's why you got teams wanting to be a part of it. So
I agree. The only thing I don't like, I hyped myself up to go to the parade this year, and not one band was in there except Miami Central High School.
So Jackson State's band wasn't in there either.
Jackson State or the 100 was in this parade.
Wow.
I got up early to go down to Miami from Palm Beach County.
Man, that's there's a disconnect somewhere. I don't know how that happens.
They didn't leave their tubers on the plane, did they? I'm gonna stop.
Look, they was on the bus. They was on a bus going somewhere when the parade was starting.
Yeah.
What day was the parade? The parade was what day?
Saturday.
So see, it wasn't even on game day.
The battle of the bands was what, Friday night or Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how well attended was that?
The Battle of the Bands looked well attended, but the parade there wasn't nobody there either. The residents around the parade route ain't know nothing about the parade.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's part of that disconnect. I told you about the locals not showing up. That's part of that disconnect then. So Montre, you got any thoughts about the South Florida game?
I think we can beat them. I keep telling myself this. Just have faith. Run it up. Run it up. Coach Willie Simmons just run the ball up on them. We got too many bats back there. Use them.
Agreed.
Well said. Well said.
Appreciate
All right.
y'all.
Appreciate you, Montre. Thanks for checking in.
Hey, it was good seeing you. Thanks by coming by the pregame broadcast too.
For sure, anytime.
All right. What is yeah, just want to let people know, anybody if you scroll up a little bit in the chats there on Facebook and YouTube, you can be a part, join the show. We want to hear from Rattler Nation. Let us know your thoughts from the game this past weekend. Interesting to kind of hear some of the thoughts going back to around the SWAC and around the HBCU diaspora. Any games or upsets that kind of caught your attention that I don't know, somehow might have an effect on FAMU in the rankings, in the polls, things like that? I know the rankings,
Morgan State.
A lot of polls are coming up.
You got to start with Morgan State. They beat a ranked Richmond team.
From the CAA.
17-10 or 18-10, whatever it was. But to hold that team to 10 points on the road, Coach Wilson, man, we knew he was going to get that program going. But, man, that is impressive, man. And you tie that into everything else that go on Morgan State. Their president, David Wilson, who applied for the FAMU job many moons ago. He's, they got the med school coming, man. They building up all over the place, buildings everywhere. They getting some pretty big donations from people. Man, Morgan State is trending up like a mug. I'm impressed.
Yeah, they're doing a great job from the athletic standpoint for the football, and I agree with you. I see some people have Morgan State, I guess, on their weekly power rankings as number one, or at least in the top three, where I don't know if they were ranked previously.
Number one? Where did you see them number one at? Really? Morgan State number one?
Not like not a poll, like a power ranking from the HBCUs, like different ones that we'll see on Twitter. So, if you look at it in terms of the opponent ranking that they played against, Jackson State wasn't ranked for us. We were the ranked team. They may have been in the other getting votes. Howard played tough against Eastern Michigan, didn't pull it out, but a couple early special teams touchdowns by Eastern Michigan probably put them, but they were close. They were within, I want to say, within a touchdown until a late score.
In the fourth quarter, it was 30-23 or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Until a late field goal, because it was only 33-23. So
right.
I mean, they played. Eastern Michigan had a game in their hands, because at first when I saw it and I saw the score, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good at all. So I flipped to something else and then came back, and it was 30-23. And I think I came right in at the point where Eden James had gotten hurt. They were showing him walk into the locker room. And it seemed like, because I kind of missed that middle part, it seemed like that kind of took the starch out of them. But they were talking about they were having a good running game, and he was going off between him and that.
They had like three running backs who they're similar to us. They ran the ball very well, and the only reason they got behind in the first place was their special teams. They gave up like a kickoff for a touchdown. I think a punt for a touchdown. Yeah, I know it was two special teams touchdown. That's how they jumped out. Otherwise, their defense played well against Eastern Michigan. So they were impressive. And I'm going to give you one more that was really impressive for me that I watched. And that was Arkansas Pine Bluff. I watched their game, man. And they had like three turnovers in like the first quarter. I mean, they created 3 turnovers like in the first quarter.
They lost
and they scored a touchdown. They actually, they were in that game early.
They lost 49-7.
Yeah, but with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter, like I said, I watched it. The score was like 17-7 maybe. And like I say, they turned the one time they got a turnover. They scored the first time they got a turnover. The second time they got a turnover, they turned the ball right back over. And of course the other team got some home cooking. And then they got another turnover. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I think they put the other team quarterback out. But Pine Bluff, their quarterback, they got a 6'3" quarterback who's pretty mobile. He was like the number 19 player coming out of I can't remember if he was out of Kentucky or Arkansas or wherever he was from, but he can play. He's a real through threat. Long, pretty accurate. I'm telling you, I like what I saw at Pine Bluff. Don't sleep on him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was like, yes. I got to go back and watch.
I like them better than Alabama State right now.
Wow. Okay. That Alabama State defense not impressing you, huh?
I mean, they had a good defense last year and the year before.
Yeah. I mean, well, hey, kept them. If the offense ever gets around to it, that there might be a dangerous. I mean, if we're a fifth, get it. Okay. Real quick, I see we got one other caller in there. So EA, hang in there tight. Let's take a short break. Come back on the other side. I did want to make mention of some of the latest poll rankings because FAMU has moved up in quite a few rankings. So let's do that. Let's take a quick 2-minute break. Come back and catch up with some other callers. Anybody out there, if you want to join the show, I put the StreamYard link in there. You can join us. You obviously don't have to be on camera, but we'd love to hear your voice and share your thoughts for a couple of minutes on what you've seen and go from there. So you're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin coming in, and want to want to let everybody know, if you got an opportunity and you want to come join us for a couple of minutes, I put the StreamYard link to the show in the chats. All you got to do is scroll up a little bit. I might put it back in there again. We've already had a couple of folks come on, and we've got another friend of the show coming on in just a second. Actually, I'll bring EA in because I want to load in a couple of images here that I know we wanted to show. So let's see if EA is there. EA, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing, brother? How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me, man. I want to just give a little take on both the JSU game and the upcoming USF game. I thought that I've been saying for all along, the guard center guard combination, that we had to have that particular combination be dominant, and they did a good job. They neutralized their defensive tackles. We were able to run the football, and that's going to have to be very important for us going forward. I think that was a weakness for us last year, and that they did an excellent job of running the football, also stopping any type of blitzes up the middle. They gave Musa time to get rid of the ball. I thought we ran the ball effective with the backs. They finished off runs, which was very important. And then also the receivers did a good job of getting open. Now, Musa did miss some throws, but hopefully settle down, and this will be the second game he'll do well. Special teams, I have been harping on that for last 2 months about how Coach Simmons has made that a very, very important aspect of the team, of the three phases, and we definitely capitalized on that, except for the field goal protection. So I'm pretty sure he's going to correct that. One of the things that I was a little skeptical of was the defensive game plan, and I thought that Coach Smith did a good job of making sure that he mixed it up. It wasn't just a basic coverage. And one of the things I was really watching for was our nickel. He's the key a lot of times to what can be disguised, how he plays, because really he has to be the best athlete on the field. He has to be part linebacker, part corner. He can blitz him, all those kind of different things. So I thought he played pretty good. So we'll see coming up with USF. One of the things that's going to be important is that they will bring tempo. It was amazing to hear they got off almost 90 plays in a game. Right. So that's going to be huge for us to be able to. I know Coach Smith is trying to play a lot of guys on defense, but when you're trying to run 90 plays, we better be in shape, able to get off the field, because if not, it's going to be a long, long day. And then if they're, I think the thing that was a little concerning, I think we gave up a 17-play drive in the third quarter. And I'm pretty sure other teams are going to look at that to kind of go, okay, what did they do? Short passes, dinks, get 5 yards here, 4 yards here to put us in, third and one. Right, quarterback. So all of that is going to be important for us going forward. And I'm pretty sure other teams are going to use that against us to see if we can keep us on the field long. So other than that, man, I hope all of Central Florida, please come out. Please come. I mean, tickets are $11. We're 1-0. This is a game that of all the years I've been watching, we got a good chance. I hope we really come out from Polk County, Hillsborough, Sarasota. This got to be the second largest alumni area in the state. So we got to get out and support this team. So hopefully we'll come out and show support. So again, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Well said, man.
Well said.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Appreciate you, EA. I'll touch on a couple of things that he mentioned as it relates to USF and their head coach, Alex Galesh. He's a first year head coach. That 95 plays they run. And I had a chance. I was trying to. I wish I had time to just be able to chop up stuff all day and night. But I had asked Coach on his Monday presser about this. South Florida ran 95 plays against Western Kentucky. They lost 41-24. So I just want you to see it in. And the time of possession was practically the same. So both teams were going at a ridiculous pace. And I think the time possession may have been 32 to 27. Do the math on however that equals 60. Maybe
32-28.
something like that. But if somebody pulls that up, you can look at how many plays Western Kentucky ran. But South Florida ran 95 plays. So I asked Coach Simmons, and of course, taking into consideration that the clock has changed now. Now you don't have that stopping the clock anymore after first downs like it used to have. So theoretically, you think the game moves faster for TV? I don't know if it did or not. I don't know if you guys feel like the game went faster or slower. I haven't really been able to tell. But I will say running 95 plays is ridiculous. And 61 of them were run plays.
Correct.
That's the other thing coaches like their goal is to run a play every 18 seconds. So when you're running the ball and whatever happens, you're down, you get back up, you go right back to the line of scrimmage. So coach was aware of it. He obviously he's aware of it. But what he did say is that goalish comes from the last 2 seasons he was at Tennessee with Josh Heupel. And he was at UCF previously with Josh Heupel. So he comes from out of that fast tempo pace. He was the offensive coordinator and the tight ends coach at UCF and Tennessee the last 3 years. That's where he's been. So we faced what was it when we faced UCF? That was 2019.
19. Yeah.
So we're familiar with the tempo that UCF. Coach said he's familiar with it. Now we got a few players left over from them, but I don't not even Jackson State, who averaged something like 75 plays a game. They didn't even run at the pace and tempo that USF ran. So coach simply said, guys are going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to be ready. I don't know. He didn't seem to think that I don't know how you don't really simulate 95 plays, but you can do your best. But the guys are just going to have to be ready and conditioned for what's coming.
Well, not only that, Brian. Luckily, I think the way our team is built, we match up well with that. But the run 95 plays tells me that not only do they run tempo, but they don't substitute much. Because if they bring somebody off the sidelines, then they have to let the defense substitute also. So if they ran 95 plays and they still lost by double digits, that tells me, and they were running the ball, which means that the clock should have been, like you say, with the clock changes and everything, the clock should have been running. That means that they doing it with their personnel on the field. Now, the quarterback had pretty good success running the ball, as well as they transfer a running back. Now, what I would say is, I believe three things, the 3 keys to that for us will be, one, get off to a good start. Meaning, if we get in the red zone, we need to score touchdowns, not field goals, or go for it and don't get it on 4th down. We've got to complete touchdown. We got to run the ball so that we keep their offensive opportunities to a minimum. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we have to make the quarterback beat us passing. I am just speculating because I haven't watched the film, but with a redshirt freshman quarterback who's probably a little bit more of an athlete, more developed as an athlete than he is a passer right now, is the reason why they run in tempo, but they run in the ball 2/3 of the time. So if we focus in on stopping the run and taking away his first read in the pass, what I would do, I know they got a speed receiver on the end, and he caught at least one long touchdown against Western Kentucky early in the first quarter. But I would probably double him, have somebody up top to watch him, because it's hard to run a man coverage when you have a mobile quarterback like that. You don't want your back to him, because he can go for some long plays that way. So I would probably double that speed receiver and focus in on the run and see if he can make that second read. Is he patient? Is he accurate? So those are some of the keys. But also remember, even though when that's fast, Jackson State ran pace and resubstituted a lot. Our whole defensive front will substitute in and out. And for the most part, we were pretty flawless in that pattern. So hopefully we're prepared for it. And I do think we match up well for it, but we'll see.
Byram Brown is the young man, the quarterback for USF, a class of 2022 prospect, 6'3", 192. He had several offers. We actually offered him back on in 2021, along with some other HBCUs like A&T, North Carolina Central, Hampton. He got an offer from USF in June of a month after FAMU offered him. So he was somebody who was on FAMU's radar. He ended up signing with USF in December of 2021. So he forgo his spring semester at USF.
He may not have. I mean, there's the early signing period, so I don't know. We don't know if he finished that or not.
The reason, I'm looking. It says enrollment July.
Oh yeah.
Well,
no,
it says
okay, July 22.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. He signed December 15th. Yeah, his enrollment was July of 2022. So you're right. My apologies. Yeah, so he signed, and he was part of. I guess he chose to stay. Instead of leaving when they changed coaches, because he actually came with the previous coach. I believe what was that? That was Coach Simmons' former teammate.
Right.
What was his name? Whatever. I can't remember his name. We played against them, but anyway, he chose to stay, and I think part of the reason why he chose to stay is because look, he got recruited by UCF, so this coach Galesh and some of these coaches were coming who had previously recruited him when they were at UCF. They were like, hey, look, we wanted you at UCF to run the kind of offense that we want to run. So, hey, he said, all right, I'll stick around. And so you saw what he did last week. For anybody who, Marcus, did you pull up the numbers on that game from last week? Do you have that ready? I saw you're working. Did you pull it up?
Yes.
What were his numbers against Western Kentucky?
He had net 160 yards rushing on 25 attempts. And passing, he was 15 out of 34 with 2 interceptions for 166 yards.
But he rushed for 2 touchdowns and passed for another.
Yes.
Yeah. And South Florida got outscored 24-7 in the second half. But it was a tie ball game at halftime. And I think if I recall, because I was paying attention to this game, South Florida scored first and didn't score again. Didn't score again after that.
Interesting. Now, the other thing is, and I'm going to check Western Kentucky. I know they had, I don't know if he stayed there or didn't, but the quarterback who transferred from West Florida and took them to their national title a few years ago, I think he transferred to Western Kentucky last year, and he was going off. And I think he stayed. And I'm going to check that. So I'm saying that to say, when you look at the numbers compared, because they only had one game of stats against Western Kentucky and then USF, it was heavily on the pass for Western Kentucky, almost 400 yards, and almost the opposite. So it was a contrast of styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine, Brian, again, hadn't seen the film, but 95 plays and you don't score in the second half. My thoughts are that Western Kentucky coaches made some good adjustments at halftime, along with South Florida probably ran out of a little steam. They probably ran out of a little gas. First game of the year, getting off 95 plays. That'll get you tired.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So, Austin Reed, gosh, I was trying to find the stats, but I got it from USF's website, but I think he was the starting quarterback and he was like all world, and they were wondering if he was going to come out or transfer last year. Individuals. So yeah, rushing, passing.
Hey, I can see Kobe saying right now, run the ball, coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what Saturday night got to be.
Yeah.
We got to keep their offense off the field.
Agree. And even though it's a different coaching regime, last time we played USF 2 years ago when we
ran the ball well.
We ran the ball well. We were down 24-0 before we started really getting a consistent offense, and we lost 38-17, I believe. But I think Jarrell Jennings had a 100-yard game.
He did.
And so it's a matter of whether we're going to adhere to that early, kind of like the game plan for Jackson State. And actually, that's another question I had just to bounce it off you guys. This is like a combo question for the USF game. Will we see maybe this season, but especially this game, a return to what we may have seen in 2021 when we had Rashawn McKay, not in terms of the passing numbers, but in terms of the emphasis on the run? Will it be consistent? And I guess the other thing is, how much will we really show in this game? Because it's non-conference against an FBS opponent, and in actuality, it is winnable, but it's not necessarily critical to our long-term season goals of getting to the Celebration Bowl. So do you think we'll be, just bouncing off of you guys, do you think we'll be more balanced like we were in 2021 and have a prolific running game that's consistently showcased in each and every game? And to what degree on offense or defense are we going to play our hand, knowing we still have the whole rest of the season and at least seven other SWAC contests, and being cautious to put things on film?
I think Cardell Thomas and Ashton Grable at the two guard positions, those transfers we've got in, 6'3", 300-pounders, I think they give us that oomph up front to go along with, our tackles are longer and a little bit lighter. But those two in the middle, along with TJ Lee, who's another 300-pounder, I think that gives us some real mountain movers, right? People movers. And then you add to that two backs over the 225 pounds. I absolutely believe that we will see, and Coach talked about it. Coach Henry talked about it. And let me just say right now, everybody talking about, the return game and the running game. The heroes from the game Saturday is the offensive line and the defensive line.
True that. Yes,
they both straight dominated Jackson State.
Yes, they did. Yes.
They were the most impressive units, both sides, all game long, consistently.
Well said. Mm-hmm.
So I got to give those coaches their flowers, and those players their flowers also. But I absolutely believe, and if you look at the limitations or just the latency in terms of completion percentages, even though we got a lot of playmakers, and how well having that running game open up the pass game, I absolutely believe that we're gonna, number one, stick to it. Number two, I think we're gonna have much greater success down the road too, because I do think Jackson State is a talented team, and I do think we got teams on our schedule who aren't as talented as Jackson State, and we'll continue to get better. And they don't have so out there. I still feel like some bigger blowouts are coming, to be honest. But yes, I do think we'll stay committed to the run. And the only question I have with the run game is, will we see the lightning side of it? I know we're gonna have the thunder. And I fully expect Kelvin Dean and Will Hoyt in his limited carries to be that lightning. And I believe you'll see them shine in the second half when we don't woe down, because our rotation this game was a different running back every series. Now I don't know if they're gonna continue to stick with that, moving forward. I think they was just trying to give everybody an opportunity, get work and kind of see what they would do in the live shot. But I'm interested to see how if they're going to stick with a hot guy or if they're going to stick with rotation or what have you. But yes, we are built. This team is built to run. We have to do it. That's our strength on offense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with many of the points Kelvin said, and if you go listen to the 220 Club today, Wednesday, with Coach Simmons, he spoke about the difference that Thomas and Grable give us. I mean, those two play with a meanness and an attitude that's that is like, not saying we haven't had that, but it's evident as to why they were rated the way they were. And then so that brings an attitude. That's an attitude that our offensive line has. And so I think it'll be interesting to see. I think Coach was saying that some of the officials were telling them, hey, Coach, they're pushing it. I almost threw the flag on a few people. In that Western Kentucky USF game, there were a total of 20 penalties. USF had 11. Western Kentucky had 9. Watch for how it is officiated up front.
Yeah.
Will the officials allow our offensive line to be as physical as possibly USF's offensive line will try to be with us? I think that'll be interesting to see. Now, if they're throwing it on both sides, I'm okay with that. But, be upset, be worried if you start to see our offensive line, especially early on, get called for some stuff early on in the ball game. I don't know what the home cooking is going to be like at Raymond James. They might bring in.
Yeah, we do.
They might bring in.
You got to take on. You got to take on the refs as well as the team.
Saying, they're gonna come in with a nice pregame meal for the officials and some good drink and air conditioning. So I don't know how that's going to sway things. So we'll see how that affects us up front. But I will say, the running game is a three-headed monster. Coach said that Terrell Jennings was running like he was upset that he was the third guy. And yes, he should be upset.
And he should be.
He's on the verge of being, and again, his 79 yards, his career average is 34 a game. And he's 30th he's in the top 30. I think he might have moved up a spot or two. He's going to be a top 20 career rusher at FAMU when it's all said and done. If he stays healthy like he has every year he's played, he will be in the top 20, especially if he's breaking off 70, 80 yards. And he was the third guy. The number 2 guy, Yant, had 70-something yards. I mean, Dean had a bad day, but I mean, watch out for him. And so I don't know why you change up from it, honestly, guys. I think I know the whole hot hand thing, but I think what it allows you to do is you got guys who can be 3-down backs. You got 3 guys who can be 3-down backs, which I think is pretty rare. That's pretty nice. And it gives you opportunities to do a lot of things with your play calling and run your tempo and things of that nature. So I hope we go to play to win. I don't know if holding anything in the cupboard because you don't want a SWAC team. I think everybody is trying to do what they need to do to win ball games. And that's what I hope we're doing. So if it's a tie ball game and coach got a chance to run a formation or a play that he's like, let me see how this works, go ahead and try it. Try it against USF, and then later on, 5-6 weeks down the road, if somebody was smart enough to scout every play that we ran against USF back in September and they figure it out, well, God bless them. But I think right now coach goes ahead and plays and coaches to win, and then we'll kind of see what happens through the course of the ball game.
So,
okay.
Let's kind of show. I know we had a few things. I got to make mention of a couple things here while we have some time. I know we got some things we wanted to show. First off, as we preview what's happening, as we preview what's happening in South Florida, we will be in South Florida. We will be with the Rattlers StrikeZone tailgate group that will be right outside of the Yankees training complex. It's associated with the Tampa chapter of the National Alumni Association. So if you're interested, can one of you guys pull up well, I know on the flyer here, if you can see the flyer there with special guest AD Sykes. Yeah, exactly. She'll be that's fun. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see her. We'll see her there. While we will be doing a pregame show live from the tailgate. Thanks in large part to a friend of the show, Rick Kinsey, who is going to let us use some power off the big truck to help us get going. So and we appreciate him, James Green, for
Super Rattler, Rick Super Rattler.
Exactly. And you can see how they roll. They roll with the big RVs. That's the big dogs right there. When they come
every game.
So I'm told they got a nice little formation and everything that they're gonna try to set up. Mr. Kinsey said he's telling people, y'all make sure you are ready and on time so that when they open up this lot, that we are put it like this. The folks from USF will actually probably be using them as the test RVs for the next week when Alabama RVs come rolling in. So anything that they need, they'll figure it out with our folks, and then they'll have it in place for Alabama, because Alabama folks will be rolling in as soon as our RVs roll out of the lot. The Alabama trucks will start rolling in, I'm sure, somewhere about midweek. Yeah. So, but no, we're looking forward to it, man. I'm super excited to get over to Tampa and be a part of this and be able to do our show. We're gonna try to make a few technical adjustments. I think that I went back and listened to the audio. It was okay. It could be a little better, I'm gonna try to work on some technical things so that way, we get a good sound and quality. So you guys need to make sure you are a part of the that you have the likes, that you have the bell turned on to get notifications. If you're on Facebook, make sure you're part of our Facebook page. So that way you can get notifications as well. So that way when we get ready to go live, and I'm not going to give you the exact time because I don't know if we're going to go live at exactly 3 or maybe it might be 3:30, but sometime between 3 and 4, we're going to look to try to go live. And then so you want to, if you're not going to be in Tampa, be in place. But hey, if you're in Tampa, this is the tailgate you need to come over to. Come over. Go ahead, and I think you can still order some plates with the Tampa Alumni Association.
Yeah, it's a fundraiser for the athletic department. So
yeah, and more importantly, right here, come be a part of the strike tour. Minimum donation $250. Hosted by Tampa, Pasco, St. Pete, Sarasota, Plant City, and Clearwater Rattlers. So that's going to be the Rattler RV Strike Zone will be in parking lot 8P. So there you see that. You see the Yankees training complex. I think that is just south of the Raymond James Stadium. So should be good. Should be a good time. And this group was also featured. If you follow Allison Posey, they were featured by Allison.
OBC.
Yeah, just as they were heading to the OBC. So if you saw that piece by Allison, if not, I'd recommend you go to Allison. We retweeted it. So if you're on our page, you've probably seen it. But man, we're looking forward to it. Should be awesome. Okay, got a few other items I know you wanted to showcase here. We're going to kind of move away from just strictly talking football, but we got some new, the latest and greatest things that we've seen. What do we got here, fellas? What do we got?
That's Lawson Center, man. That's the new scoreboard.
Got it plugged in.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's up in the air and plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
That looks nice.
Yeah, I like the ribbon at the bottom there, so they can run the scrolls down there. I can't wait to see a full video picture-in-picture when we have an athletic event. But as a matter of fact, just thought about it. I know we're finna get to it, but volleyball plays at home this week. So
yeah,
starting tomorrow, I think.
We got a big time team coming in too.
Yeah,
I think
Georgia Tech.
I think they're ranked.
Yeah, so the scoreboard, I think what the opportunities are, not only do you have your live video or replays, but also you have the opportunity of running stats. So as we're running live stats from games, that information should be able to be fed to the scoreboard. I mean, this is I don't want to say it's shy of what you might see at a professional arena, but this is professional level stuff here. And so we're taking it up a notch. So this is big time. Let's hope we utilize it to its full capabilities.
And actually, Georgia Tech is ranked number 11. Now, I don't know where they finished last year, but I was reading something either Sunday or Monday where they knocked off another ranked team, volleyball team, I think 1 or 2, as part of their opening series of games. So they're 4-0, ranked number 11 in the AVCA, American Volleyball Coaches Association poll this week.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think they won the ACC last year.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna correct you on something. They are playing these matches in the Al Lawson Center. They're not playing them in Gaither. It'd be nice if they were, but from the just recently released article, this game will be played at Gaither. I'm sorry, at Al Lawson Center. Yeah. So let's finish going. Let's do a proper setup for the volleyball thing here in a second, but let's continue to kind of show some of these images that we've captured, such as this one right here. Well, look at that. What movie is that? Anybody know offhand? Quick. Anybody?
It's Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
But which
the first
one?
Though? It's the first one.
Is it the first one?
Because he had to put the sand on the head and then it dropped. That's like the beginning of it.
Oh, look at you. All right. I thought it might be the new one.
I believe the high school has a game this week, a home game. So I'm not sure if they playing their home games at Bragg or are they playing it somewhere else. But I do know that the high school plays actually a friend of the show. They play Leon. FAMU High plays Leon this weekend. So I don't know if they'll be in the stadium or not. But that's the scoreboard with speaker system. There's some more speakers behind the screen, and there's another piece that's not in place yet. So
on the scoreboard or in the stadium?
Yeah, on the scoreboard itself.
Would it happen to be right below the video monitor?
I'm not sure where they're gonna place it. If I was a guest in person, it might be on top.
Oh, okay. Man, that's nice. Let's see what else we got here.
You know, those old light fixtures we had with the signage on Gallimore Fieldhouse. Well, that's the digital ribbon. It is actually lit up, but because it was daylight and the colors they were using, you know, it's hard to tell. But we got a ribbon board that runs the whole entire length of the Gallimore Fieldhouse. So instead of having those old light up signs, we'll be running information across those ribbons.
Interesting. Okay.
Each corner of the end zone has those same ribbon boards also.
All right.
There go some of them. So look at some of the speakers on the backside of the scoreboard. That is the redone parking lot. Fully paved, lined, regraded,
Proper
numbered,
space, proper spacing for the
drainage
spaces.
Yeah.
Okay.
No mud, no rocks.
Wow. That's pretty. And there's light. Is that lights I see out there in the parking lot too?
Yeah, the lights always been out there though.
Oh, they have been. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And got some steps. You know, the way it's set up, coming from the village, which used to be Pogenhorn, that's the entrance gateway. That's supposedly the gateway into the stadium. So now they got a big gate and a big open space in the village where you can walk down through the gates, and then they put steps down there on the hill so that hopefully folks can on game day more easily maneuver through the folks parking and the traffic and so forth and get to the stadium.
So the top to that area on the right is now just essentially a driving lane. There's no parking, or at least as far as we can tell right now, there's no parking up there.
As far as we can tell, yes.
Right. Okay, interesting. There's another angle, some more parking lots.
Yeah, now, that's on the east side there.
Did you mention that the number of spaces actually went down? Correct.
Okay. Because they had to do some things with the curb. They put some curbing in, some drainages and some other things in order. So yeah, the number of parks, and they made them a little wider and more consistent. Because some people had big spots and some people had tight spots. So yeah.
Interesting.
And that's the new driveway coming off by the parking garage coming off of Wanish Way. So the only way in the Bragg from the east side was Bob Hayes Lane. Now they created a second entry point where if you come in like you go into the parking garage, there's a street that curves all the way around it and brings you to Bragg also.
Okay. So you come from the parking garage to Bragg. That's pretty good. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. All right. All right. So there's again our strike tour that's there. One other piece that I wanted to show everybody because Mike hit me up this afternoon and wanted to let me know that guess what? There's availability that he has for this weekend's game. If anybody's still looking, if you're looking for club seats in the beige section. So that's the section that's between the 134 to 137, 233 to 238 on the FAMU side. Okay, that's the areas in beige that are part of the club level seating. He has those. He has a small block left for $109 each. Very similar pricing to what he had the past weekend down in South Florida. So $109 each. He accepts Cash App, which is $Road Dog 482. You can also do Zelle, his phone number as well. A lot of the same packaging and information that we had from the previous week. And I would show that slide, but I didn't tweak it to unfortunately I didn't tweak it to fit for the Orange Blossom, or I still have the Orange Blossom Classic information there. But I will put his information up here in a second. Okay. So ways that you can pay for these tickets: Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal. Of course, if you make the reference, and we'd love for you to do this, help out the show, use the code BCSN or StrikeZone when you purchase, and a portion will come back to us. And $109 in the club level is a great deal. Seats are available in various areas of the stadium, starting at $25 through the FAMU Tampa alumni chapter. So you can go to FAMU alumni Tampa Bay.org if you're just looking for seats. $25, and that helps support the Tampa alumni chapter. Again, that's FAMU alumni Tampa Bay.org. Okay, and just to give people a sneak peek, that's what club life looks like there in Raymond James Stadium, the Ray J, as they call it. Of course, home to Super Bowl champions like that guy, TB12. Nice area. These NFL stadiums, boy, they do them right with the club level section, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And just imagine, there are colleges that sometimes have club level sections in their stadiums that look pretty doggone good too.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yeah, a few Rattlers that supported, and that's that section there. Yeah. All right. Good section of Rattlers that came out. I believe this is from 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
How long was it?
2019.
No, I thought we played them in 21. No? I thought it was 2 years ago. But anyway, these are just some of the sites. Again, anybody?
Yeah, you're right, because Terrell Jennings was running. That's right.
Yeah, Marquise Bell was played in that game.
Yeah,
his senior last year. So whatever year that was.
Yeah, that was 21.
Yeah. So again, good stuff there, and then let people know where they can. Let me see if I can pull up the site here. Well, if you go to justlookingout.com, I don't know. It's here it is. There you go. Justlookingout.com. That's the site. Make sure I only got one O or two O's. Yep, two O's in there. Justlookingout.com. And you can reach Mike on Cash App, Zelle. He even has a PayPal. And if you go to the site right here in the code area, type in BCSN or StrikeZone. But more importantly, you might want to call him because the game is just a few days away. All right. All right. Let's talk volleyball. Okay, now let's officially talk volleyball for a few minutes here before we get ready to wrap up the show with some predictions and the look ahead to the week. Let's make sure we give credit to the volleyball team for their weekend and then the look ahead. So, Kelvin, if you would do the honors there and lead us through that.
Volleyball team had 3 matches this past week, and we had a couple of 3-2 matches. We had a couple of 5-setters. One on Friday, one on Saturday. We actually won the one on Saturday. We lost the one on Friday, and we should have. It was one of those ones where we hadn't figured out how to close out yet, but and then we got swept by JU on Sunday, and then I just take that as, fatigue. They're ready to come home. because I'm sure that JU is not that much better than the other teams we've played. So that's the first time we got swept all year.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get off the snide, and we talked about this was an opportunity for them to win 2 out of 3. They got 1 out of 3. They had opportunity to get 2 out of 3, and so I think we've got this next week of coming up of games, and then we'll start and these are at home, so I'm kind of interested to see if the students going to come and support and how the girls are gelling. I know Coach, as was indicated, Coach Gokhan is building this team right now. I think he's a little less, just like Coach Shupi is, like we talked about. He's not as worried about wins and losses right now. He's trying to get his lineups right and find his rotations and all that. We still going through that process, as well as playing ourselves in this shape. So hopefully we'll get 2 out of 3 this week. We were in Jacksonville this past weekend, and I had it pulled up somewhere around here who we played. And by the way, we had a player recognized as the SWAC newcomer of the week, Iani Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was the newcomer of the week for the Southwest Athletic Conference. It was a Jacksonville University. It was a tournament, 3-match tournament. We beat Northern Arizona. We lost to Sanford. We lost to JU and Citadel. And Citadel was the 5-setter on Friday, the first one where we actually in the 5th set, I think, held a lead late, but weren't able to finish.
Mm-hmm. And that was our third 5-setter in the last week or so, because I think we lost to UAB. So we had 3 5-setters that could have gone either way. We could have been on a 3-game winning streak going into that tournament finale against Jacksonville.
Right.
Now, I just looked it up really quick. The tournament we're hosting in Tallahassee this weekend, we have South Alabama, Stetson, and Georgia Tech coming in. And Georgia Tech's coming in ranked the number 11 team in the country, 4-0, and they knocked off number 8 Penn State, who is typically one of the powerhouse teams in the country, an annual contender to get to the tournament and the Final Four, and also knocked off Ohio State, who had a pretty powerful team last year. And I know they made the tournament. I don't know how far they advanced, but I think they made at least to the Sweet 16. So we're knocking off 2 powerhouse teams from the Big Ten and a neutral site for Penn State at the Road to Tampa Invitational, and then knocked off Ohio State at home, who was ranked number 12 at the time. So there were 2 top 15 teams going at it. And Georgia Tech was ranked number 20 when they played Penn State early in the season, like the first week of the season. And they played at South Florida. They beat USF as well for their first win.
Yeah, that wasn't going to be a tough one.
Actually, they played Auburn as an exhibition. So, I mean, theoretically, that doesn't count, but they would have 5 wins. So they beat Auburn, Ohio State twice, and Penn State, with at least 2 of those teams that they beat being in the top 15 at the time that they played.
Yep.
So it's a pretty big deal to have us host a tournament, also to have a team of Georgia Tech's caliber. And I don't know where they ended last year in terms of ranking. So I have to look back at that. But to have them come down to Tallahassee for a tournament, so we really need folks to show up.
Should be a good one. I know that Brooke Hudson, she reached a career milestone over the weekend, did she not?
Yes.
I think
she reached 1,000 digs.
Yeah.
So she reached that milestone. And as previously mentioned, true freshman Iani Sanford out of Choktawachi, if I pronounced that correctly. High school. She made a
Sounded
newcomer.
sounded pretty good to me, Marcus. You did it.
So
Cha-cha.
she made.
We grew up calling it by. We ain't try to pronounce it. We just call it cha-cha.
So she got freshman of the week, and then I think the previous week, Brooklyn Watts received no accolades. So we're still, cranking out some of the talent, and we have a lot of newcomers. I do not know. I know Coach Gokhan mentioned one young lady that we had signed or had committed, still working on getting her back in the U.S. I don't know if she's made it yet. I can't tell. And I didn't look at the stats to see if she got any playing time or anything.
I was just taking a quick peek at the game times, making sure I apologize if you said them already, Marcus. I was in the midst of I'm listening to you, and then I'm trying to get the next stuff together. South Alabama is tomorrow at 6:00 in Al Lawson. Stetson is Friday, 6:00 in Al Lawson. And then nothing on Saturday, obviously probably taking into consideration that there's a game. And I like that. That's a good idea. Georgia Tech is on Sunday. All three games appear to be on the Rattlers Plus Watch Live page. So you can actually, if you want to, make sure you're connected in with Rattlers Plus, and I think these games will appear on Rattlers Plus. I'm hoping so. I think did many of the volleyball games get streamed last year? I can't recall that they did. I don't feel like
there were a few that got streamed on Facebook.
Okay.
Now, looking at the Georgia Tech side of the bracket, they play South Alabama at 3 p.m. on Friday, and then they play Stetson at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and then they play us 2 p.m. on Sunday. So I guess they have it spread out, pretty much a round robin for the whole weekend.
So some people are playing. Is it just those four schools? Us, South Alabama, Stetson, and Georgia Tech.
Yes.
And by the way, Georgia Tech last year made it to the second round of the NCAAs, where they were ranked number 5, and they lost to number 4 Marquette in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So they are considered a volleyball powerhouse. Them and the University of Pittsburgh are the two best teams in the ACC.
Yeah. Did you guys, speaking of volleyball from last week, did you guys see the University of Nebraska, what they did, where they they had a volleyball day in the state of Nebraska?
96,000.
Yeah,
something like that.
92, yeah, but
the largest crowd ever see a woman's sporting event.
Right, surpassing the what was it, the gold medal game from the from back in 90, whatever, like back in the mid 90s of that was not Mia Hamm, but Brandy Chastain pulling the shirt off whenever they won the World Cup that year. It was in LA. That was like the birth of women's soccer in the US. But yeah, it surpassed that match. That was a pretty,
and it also surpassed of course, because it was a court, they put more seats field level. So, yes. But it also surpassed Nebraska's stadium record to include the football. It is the most people they ever had in that stadium for an athletic event.
And I had read an interesting article that in Front Office Sports, I had read that Nebraska's many volleyball programs do not turn a profit for athletic departments. They just don't.
That ain't one of them.
That's not one. I think the number was last year they went over their budget by like 230 something thousand. Last year, they have sellouts I think their gym is like an 8,000 seat gym. So they sell out, they get sponsorships, all kinds of stuff. They won 5 national titles, and then they just dropped 90. I mean, just think of the revenue that they just brought in to not only their program but the athletic department in one day. I mean, pretty doggone impressive.
They're one of those powers too. I mean, I know we upset them nearly 20 years ago, and that put us on
2002. Yeah.
But Nebraska, I mean, we think, and I know we watched swag volleyball. And I know myself personally, I'm not an aficionado of volleyball, but there are certain teams that you always hear about: Hawaii, Nebraska, Texas, Wisconsin, Penn State, like those, and Stanford tend to be some of the top 8, top 10 teams, with some going in and out, like an Ohio State. I don't know if they're known as a traditional power in volleyball, but there's always like 7 or 8 teams, and Nebraska's one of them, Hawaii's one of them, that always tend to be in the mix, and Florida as well.
I wonder if it's one of those things that it'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to replicate or copy that, and what might the equivalent of something like that be on the HBCU level? I mean, we've seen them
stop it.
Okay.
I mean, trying to break an attendance record.
I can't dream. We want HBCUs on the same level and to get the same kind of attention. I mean, we gotta dream about. I don't know.
Hey man, let's get like 1,000 people. Let's start there. I'm just saying, man.
I'm just dreaming. Don't squash my dream. I'm just over here dreaming. I'm just dreaming.
But interesting story. Not about that, but the one thing I came across, and it's on Patreon, and I didn't want to, sink the money into it, but they gave a free sample. They have, I think I sent you guys a series where they actually spoke on Jake Gaither. I think it was called The Ghost of Football Past or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a series of, it's called the Dead Letter series, where they went and talked about the different programs in the past that you should know about. Now, the free one they gave away was on Nebraska. And that wasn't I'm hoping it was the FAMU one, because I want to hear that one, because Dr. White was on that one. But I listened to a little bit on the Nebraska and how they started out. They actually had people like in the 30s or 40s going door to door to fundraise. And that's how they generated like the generational type support, because some of the coaches went door to door to help with the program in the 30s and 40s, and they just had that groundswell support, almost like Clemson's IPTAY program. So, we marvel at them getting 94,000, 96,000 for volleyball, but it started daggone near 190 years ago in terms of the outreach, and it just continues to flourish.
Good stuff. All right, so hopefully we see good crowds at the Lawson for volleyball. If you're in Tallahassee and you don't go to Tampa, hopefully they'll get the students there. The band should be there. Since the band isn't going to be in Tampa, maybe the band can show up to the volleyball matches. That'd be nice, right?
It would be nice.
Yeah,
it would be nice.
What's the rules on that? We know in the football that you can't play, or you're not supposed to play when your opponent's on offense. I don't know what it is for volleyball.
I would imagine
probably the same.
You know what? I can't imagine.
I would assume it's similar to basketball, to be honest.
Yeah,
typically, most pelt band pieces. I know we don't do a pelt band piece technically, even for basketball, except for when we go to the tournaments. Then they'll the NCAA requires they limit your maximum number. But I know at home during the season, the band don't adhere to it. But I think the number's like 35 or 40 pieces for a pelt band at NCAA basketball tournaments. And I would assume it's similar. And of course, pretty much any sport. You know, they make you, even at baseball, they make you. They make you cut off the walk up theme music before the first pitch, right? So pretty much, so pretty much in any sport, you know, artificial noise once the ball is in play is not acceptable.
Right. But you can cheer though. If we got cheerleaders, well, obviously the cheerleaders won't be there. Well, no, they won't be there. But you know, hey, you know, okay.
They may be there. I mean, they could be there. I don't know if they typically at the game or not, but they could be there Thursday for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. So good luck to our volleyball program this weekend. Also, we saw the video come out late this afternoon that the tennis program got their championship rings. So that was nice. Congratulations to Coach Nikki and the tennis program. I know we retweeted it from our Twitter page, but if you're following FAMU Athletics, you probably saw it as well. Let's start to bring the show towards the finish line with a couple of thoughts here. Obviously, some of the new polls, and I know, Kelvin, you put a couple of these in the chat features. The most interesting one that I saw that you posted was off the Reddit FCS poll. So on Twitter, this is at Reddit_FCS. This is their FCS HBCU top 10 poll for week 2. From 10 to 1, they've got Southern at 10, Hampton 9. Hampton who won. That feels a little low to me. Howard at 8. 7 is Prairie View A&M. 6 is Morgan State, which is low compared to what I saw from other places.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama State is 5, coming off a win. North Carolina A&T 4 after losing to who was
UAB?
UAB, yeah. Dirty pool by Trent Dilfer, by the way. Dirty pool. If you had North Carolina A&T plus the 24, you should send a bag of poo to Trent Dilfer because he ran up the score to try to cover the spread, and he was successful in doing so with 22 seconds left. But just to let you know, in case anyone was out there playing around. North Carolina Central with 1 first place vote, but they are ranked 3rd. Number 2 is Jackson State. That blows my mind. I think that blows my mind more than North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T being 3 and 4. North Carolina Central has been number 1. But anyway, FAMU, Florida A&M, comes in at number 1 with 9 first place votes. So I guess if you value Jackson State as much as they do, then I can understand you making Florida A&M number 1.
Yeah, Blue almost did a reversal. I don't know why Blue was so high on Jackson State against us.
I don't either.
But Zach, he put out his poll. And
where do you have FAMU?
I think Central was 1 and we're 2.
In his HBCU poll?
Yeah.
A lot of people were high on Jackson State, man. We did a poll on the JBN YouTube feed. 62% picked Jackson State.
For this past Sunday?
Yeah, this past Sunday. So, I mean, look, hey, a lot of people real high on Jackson State.
Yeah, they low now.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out because we'll talk about that, or at least make some picks here. Southern and Jackson State. We'll see who are you more down on, Southern or Jackson State. Both teams coming off a loss. That'll be interesting. Okay, just a couple other polls here. HBCU Nightly. They had North Carolina Central number 1. That's not surprising. What is surprising, FAMU coming in at 2. Morgan State came in number 3, receiving a first place vote. So
I have no problem with it. They have the best win of the season so far.
It was a road win. Okay. I mean, the season just started. I give you that. Alabama State comes in at 4, Prairie View at 5. All those teams won. Howard 6, Hampton 7. Again, y'all keep disrespecting Hampton. All Hampton does is do what? Win.
Hampton beat Grambling, man. There ain't nobody impressed by that. And it was 35-31. I'm not impressed.
Okay. All Hampton does is defeat HBCUs in the non-conference. That's all Hampton does, year after year after year after year. And they own the H that Howard wants to keep throwing out there on their name. So,
it's Howard. It's Howard. Howard only good like every 10 years.
Gotcha. Dr. Cavilles.
You gotta raise your expectations up, man.
Dr. Cavilles, I'm moving forward. Dr. Cavilles top 7 for the major division. He's got North Carolina Central at number 1, FAMU at 2, Morgan 3, Prairie View 4, Alabama State 5, Hampton 6, Jackson State 7. So he actually gave Hampton some credit in his rankings. And were there any others? I lost my. Oh, there's a couple other here. Let's see. What is this? The college, the CFB network, HBCU 15. Now, this looks like it is a combination of Division I and Division II. It's got Central 1, FAMU 2, Virginia Union 3, Morgan State 4, Jackson State 5, then Benedict is 6. So I'm just kind of stop right there. But that's kind of how their poll runs. Just in case
the FCS stats poll, we what, 20 or 19?
Yes. So with the FCS stats poll, we are actually coming in. Let's see. I'm reading right off the press release here, so bear with me here. The Rattlers entered the season at 25. They jumped to number 21 in the AFCA coaches poll.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This is the 4th straight season FAMU has been in the AFCA top 25. The Rattlers joined the Stats Perform Media poll at number 23. Okay, so 23 in one poll, 21 in the other. It'll be interesting what kind of jump we take moving forward. Again, as previously mentioned, FAMU's on a 10-game winning streak relating back to last season. Currently, we have the nation's 3rd longest streak. So we'll see how this one plays out. All right, fellas, are you ready to do some picks, some SWAC picks?
Absolutely. Just want to mention Marcus Riley named SWAC newcomer and specials team player of the week though for his performance against Jackson State. Well deserved, I think.
Yes,
I mean it was either going to be him or KDOT. So
who KDOT, and again in terms of loving the receipts that have been out there, KDOT with 195 all-purpose yards. If you didn't know his name, you know his name now. All 5'7" of him, you know his name now, and now you know why he was preseason.
And he probably ain't overrated. He probably well earned those accolades that he got in the preseason.
Far from overrated. People knew who he was 2 years ago. After 2 years ago, his performance, and so he continues to do what he continues to show out and shine on the big stage. So it kind of is helpful now to have him and Riley there. And so these other, hey, I tell you what, these other receivers, and when they get those opportunities, guys are gonna have to make a name for themselves and catch a ball when it comes to them.
Like Trevontae Davis did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Caught a ball when it came to him. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's what we got in the SWAC: an interesting mix of games against Division II opponents and some games against some FBS opponents. The only SWAC v SWAC matchup this week is the Boombox Classic, being played in Baton Rouge, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN Plus. I believe Jackson State obviously has won the last couple years, but prior to Coach Prime, I think Southern had like a 7-year run on this thing. Dawson Odoms just was beating the brakes off of Jackson State, and then he left to go to Norfolk, and Dion came in, and it's all changed. So now we got TC Taylor and Eric Dooley. Who do you got in this one, Marcus? Jackson State or Southern?
No, I did not see Southern. I didn't watch their game against Bama State, so I'm not sure. I read a synopsis of it, and it sounded like they came out hot and just got cold, and then Bama State just methodically worked them down. And we know Jackson State's coming off that L, and I don't know what's the status of their quarterback. I think I read something today that said he was questionable, but perhaps his hand may be healed by this weekend, but I don't know, especially on a short week. And he looked like he tweaked his hand a couple times during the FAMU game. And this is at Southern?
Is that Southern?
I don't know. I might have to give Southern the benefit of the doubt. I want to be consistent with my preseason prediction with Southern coming out the West, and so they're going to have to turn it around. Even though I think the Bama State game considered an
out-of-conference game. So is this.
Right.
So is this.
Okay. This one is as well?
Yes,
okay.
This one is as well. So you're going with who?
I'm going to go with Southern.
Uh-huh. All right. Kelvin, who you got?
I'm switching out, man. I'm going Jackson State. I just don't trust. I don't. It don't look like they got their quarterback situation still figured out, and Dooley is too slow to make adjustments. And I saw some of his comments coming up to this game. It looked like he's doubling down on blood and some of the things that they did against Bama State, and I think Jackson State is just as good as Bama State defensively and a little bit better offensively. So I'm gonna go with Jackson State till I see different.
Yeah, Jackson State showed me their heart in the second half. They and depending upon the quarterback situation, I think they got two good quarterbacks for them, and it's just a matter of which one they want to roll with. And as long as Southern doesn't come out and punch them in the mouth early with a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown in the opening play or a big play touchdown, I think Southern's the one that has something to prove. I mean, they're at home. I think the pressure is on Southern, in my opinion. The pressure is on Coach Dooley for this one, and I can't imagine. He's one of two coaches that, man, they in a bad spot if they go 0-2. I'll tell you.
Yeah, they are.
I'll let you guess who might be the other later, but that is a tough spot for them to be in. So I'm rolling JSU. So I'm with you on this one, Kelvin. Okay, another matchup in the SWAC. This one is the New Look Southern Heritage Classic. UAPB and Tennessee State both came off big-time losses on the road, but a lot of people felt encouraged because each team had a lead in the first quarter. Tennessee State had a 3-0 lead against Notre Dame. They were hitting Notre Dame in the mouth and, taking shots at guys. And UAPB, a lot of people said what Kelvin said earlier. Oh, UAPB looks good. And then okay, don't look at the score. So now I got to go watch. I got to go look at.
Well, they dominated. No, they dominated. They dominated the first quarter. Like I say, they had 3 turnovers in the first quarter, and it wasn't gimme. They took it.
All right, so it brings it to, UAPB, Tennessee State. Who you got, Kel?
I'm gonna surprise people. I like Coach Hampton. I told you since SWAC Media days I liked him. He dropped that nugget about he he got all his scholarships and everything. I think he know what he's doing, and once I got a chance to see his defense, they can get pressure. They got this defensive end who's about 6'4". He's like an Isaiah Land right now. He's still light. I think he's kind of young, but he's long like that and very athletic. And I really like their quarterback and some of their skilled people. So I'm gonna go with UAPB on this one in a close one.
Okay. What do you got, Marcus?
Great question. They both played against FBS opponents, so you can't really, gauge how they're matching up against each other. So in this instance, you know what? I'm gonna go with TSU. I'm gonna go with Tennessee State. Eddie George is in his third season.
Yeah,
third season. And
I don't know if he got a quarterback. I would have went with TSU if I had confidence in their quarterback. I think UAPB got a better quarterback and probably just as decent. I think they can match up with him talent wise. I just don't know if they used to winning. So if it's a close game, can they close it out? But yeah.
All right, I'm going UAPB. I picked them. I kind of messaged you, Kelvin, but I heard much of the same from Drew on Monday, and so like I said, I guess I just got to go put my eyes on it just to make sure I see what all you guys saw about UAPB. But I've heard a lot of positive comments about UAPB, like people really excited about what they saw. And then I go look at the score, and again, 49-7. But anyway, okay, it is what it is. All right. More SWAC action here. Now, I didn't, if you want to quickly, I'll just go through it. Texas Southern's traveling Toledo. That's one of of course, in our game against
South Florida.
South Florida, you've got Grambling traveling to LSU. I think those are the three SWAC matchups versus an FBS. So of the three, let's take FAMU out of it. So I'll just say between Texas Southern and Grambling, who can get the win?
Neither.
Probably your right answer. That's probably your right answer. That's probably the right answer.
C, Mark, none of the above.
None of the above. What do you agree with that take there, Marcus?
Yeah. LSU's coming off that big L against Florida State, so they're gonna be hot.
And yeah, they're gonna hang 70 on Grambling.
70?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're gonna put it on them.
I don't know about 70, but I don't know what the line is. But they might cover it. LSU might cover it.
Now they're gonna cover it.
Texas.
Don't put your money on. Don't put your money on that one.
No, I'm not crazy. No. I had a good weekend last weekend. I'm trying to find another told you so game. So far, I had two of them the other day, between the Colorado game and then the FAMU game. So I don't know. I'm looking for a told you so game. I'm gonna go with you guys. If I had to choose gun to head, I would go Texas Southern, but I don't know what Toledo has. So I feel like the safer bet is to say none of the above. Okay. Abilene Christian, that's an FCS opponent, correct?
Yes.
Now they are traveling into the Panthers' den to take on Prairie View A&M. This is an interesting contest from the standpoint of, can Prairie View win? These are one of these FCS PWI opponents that if the HBCU programs are going to get more recognition, they need to win these games. We need to see teams win these games. So do you feel like Prairie View can beat Abilene Christian this weekend? So that's the game. Abilene Christian at Prairie View. start with you, Kelvin.
Can they? Yeah, they can. Do I believe they will? No. And the reason why I don't believe they will was because, they shouldn't have won that. They shouldn't have won against Texas Southern. But to their credit, they just hung in there and wait and feast off mistakes. Well, Abilene Christian ain't gonna make those mistakes. They're a lot more physical, in terms of the line of scrimmage, and so I have to see. Now, if it was Alcorn, I probably lean the other way, but I don't trust those Texas schools. So no, I'm going with Abilene Christian.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Very interesting. What do you say, Marcus?
Yeah, I don't know about much of Abilene Christian. I know we got at least one transfer from there. So maybe two over the last 2 years. But actually, I saw that even though it has nothing to do with it, I think they got a revitalized locker room, so they got some money pumping in the program. It'll definitely be interesting. I think Prairie View, if they adopt, and once again, I'm kind of going back to last week because I think they got the Caleb Johnson transfer from Mississippi Valley. I think if they lean on the run game, shorten the game, and if they show discipline, they'll put themselves in a position to win. So I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going with Prairie View.
Okay. I'm just
kind of Marcus.
Yeah.
They set you up, Marcus.
Yeah.
Get your hope up, and then just like my man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I ain't gonna say what I was just gonna say. I don't want to get nobody upset.
Yeah. Marcus, I'm gonna let you be out there on that the lone wolf on that one, brother. I feel like Prairie View was in a similar spot last year.
They were.
I feel like they were in a similar spot last year.
They were competitive,
and against another FCS opponent that they should have won, but they didn't.
Was that Incarnate Word or somebody like that?
Might have been Incarnate Word. Yes, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, then they lose by like 2 touchdowns or something like that eventually. Like 31-17 and 14 or something.
I'm gonna let you have this one, Marcus. I'm gonna go with Abilene Christian. The other HBCU versus FCS PWI, Alcorn traveling to Stephen F. Austin. Now I think last year Stephen F. Or Alcorn beat Stephen F. Austin, if I'm not mistaken, beat them at home. So a little bit of a revenge factor spot here for Stephen F. Austin. Who do you like in this one, Kelvin?
I like their team. I predicted them to be the West. McNair is a veteran coach. The strength of their team is their defense. They won. They know they can win that type of game. We know they're gonna run the ball, so it rely on their defense. So I'm going with Alcorn on this one.
Ooh, okay. I like corn. What do you got, Marcus?
I'm gonna go with Alcorn.
Ooh, I like corn. Okay. Yeah, I'll go oppo of you guys. I've been fooled and let down too many times in these situations. Yeah, the factor of Stephen F. Austin winning, losing last year. They will be very alert and aware of Alcorn, and probably their focus will be on that rushing attack. And if Alcorn is the win, it's going to come from their quarterback. The quarterback plays
to your point, Brian.
Yeah,
I think the biggest challenge they're gonna have is them refs.
Isn't it always? Isn't it always? So yeah, there's that. Now the other game that I put on the list was Miles at Alabama State, but it's one of a couple of Division II SIC matchups versus the SWAC. Now, we saw what happened. The CIAA went 2-1 versus the MEAC last week. Won 2 of the 3 games. So here this week, we've got Savannah State traveling to Bethune, Miles traveling to Alabama State, and you've got Lane College traveling to Alabama A&M. Dangerous spots. Yes, no, maybe. Kelvin, who's the team that might get the big upset? Or who should be on upset watch?
Alabama State. Because they almost got last year. If I remember correctly, they won by like 1 point.
You might be on to something. You might be right.
It was a very tight game last year. So, in-state rival, they won't fear Alabama State. So, that would be my pick.
Marcus, what about you? You've got those 3 games. Who are you going to go with?
That's an interesting question. I agree with Kelvin, probably based on last year, but I'm still curious. I don't remember Savannah State's record if they had the same coach, but they had gone back to like a wishbone.
I think they went 5-5 last year, if I'm not mistaken. What Savannah State did, either 4-6 or 5-5. Off the top of my head, it escapes me.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. In terms of they went to an unlucky coaches.
This is a game Woody came forward to lose.
Yeah.
Really? He got to get this W.
Interesting.
You get a mulligan with their first game.
And I can't afford to lose games, says Kelvin. Already.
Well, yeah, the expectations is that he would beat a Division II school. I mean, that we all have that expectation now. If we get upset,
otherwise they could have kept Terry Sims. Oh, too soon.
Too soon. He was 2 coaches ago, so I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, yeah, that's
a coach and a half ago.
Yeah, technically. All right, so Kelvin, you're going with Miles. Is that the pick you're going with?
Who had the best chance to pull up? Say yes.
Best chance. Okay. And Marcus, who's your best chance?
Same, Miles.
Lane versus who's Lane going against again?
Alabama A&M.
See, I
don't do it.
No, you're right. I don't think any of. I'm going none of the above because I think I have Bethune winning. Yeah, so I'm going to play none of the above between the 3. Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings us to our final thoughts, bold predictions. Just to recap last year's bold predictions, score predictions. Marcus predicted a 31-24 win for FAMU last week. Kelvin predicted 31-14. I predicted 27-17. I would say your boy got the closest. Now, the margin of 18, actually, Kelvin would actually be closer with the margin. Right? 31-14 is what, 17 points? The margin was 18. Marcus, you be the judge. Who had the better score prediction, Kelvin or me?
Kelvin. Nets.
I said Marcus, not you.
So 27-17 versus what was Kelvin's score again?
31-14.
31-14. Come on, you guys in the chat rooms. Who had the better score prediction, Kelvin or me? Kelvin's again was 31-14.
Well, we should have had more than 31. We should have more than 28 points.
Way more.
Yeah, should have.
But everything centered around again our defense. I think our defense is elite, and I told you I didn't think the team will get more than 2 touchdowns on our defense unless we turn the ball over.
Yeah, and I have to get that to Kelvin just because the score was lower. His prediction of the score.
Come on, man. That's messed up. Okay, that's fine. All righty. I'll mark that down.
I win. Right. You lose again.
Hey, but didn't I call for a kickoff return touchdown or something like that? Didn't I? I didn't even go back and listen to the video, but I feel like I called for some kind of return touchdown.
I mean, that's your bold prediction almost every game.
No, is it? No, I don't think that's it every game. No.
You say that a lot.
It might. All right. Well, here we go. Bold prediction time again. Want to remind everybody, make sure if you're coming out, go out to the StrikeZone tailgate Saturday afternoon. I'll put the graphic up one more time to remind people. That's where we will be doing our pregame show with the FAMU tailgate for the Rattler RV Strike Zone. That's where we will be doing our pregame show. And then if we're fortunate enough, we will do a postgame show, maybe on site, maybe at a nearby hotel. But you got to make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those great places. Make sure you're following the ONG right there. There's the handles: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. ONG Strike Zone. You can also download our app and turn on notifications on the app, and then guess what? You'll get notifications when the show goes live. All right, man, can't get this. All right, got to get that out of here. Gonna have to drink some tea for the next couple of days, so I'll be ready for our pre-show. Okay, bold predictions. Marcus, I'll let you go first. What's your bold prediction for Saturday's contest?
I'm not sure how bold it is, but I think Jeremy Moose is going to have at least 250 yards passing.
Okay. I mean, that seems kind of low, but okay, we'll take it.
They only had 150 against Jackson.
See, over 250 yards passing. Always shade. Over 250 passing.
Thanks.
That's it's anything else, Marcus? Just over 250.
And this game will be closer than the experts think.
I don't know the spread. I don't know the spread, so what do you got?
Knowing that this head coach was at UCF when they blew us out, and he was at Tennessee, I think he don't believe, and he's gonna kick to Sheree and to Riley. And I'm saying we're going to take another special teams ball to the house. That's my bold prediction. And also, I see this game following a similar blueprint to the Jackson State game. I think we get off to a good start because that's going to be, if we have any chance of pulling an upset, we got to, in my opinion, that first quarter, we got to have a lead. We got to get a lead. And I think we'll get off to a fast start. I'm going to say we score a touchdown in the first quarter. And then from there, the number one key for me in this game is playing a clean game. Ultimately, Musa did not turn the ball over. The offense did not turn the ball over. We won a turnover game against Jackson State. If we have another clean game, I really like our chance to squeak this one out. But the scary part is it may come down to the kicking game field goal. And in that case, I don't like our chances.
bite
So,
bite your tongue.
But I'm like Marcus. This is very close to a toss-em game for me. If we play a clean game.
Well, I'm okay. Well, give me the bowl. I heard 5 different things in there, Marcus. Can you? So, like, what is the bold prediction? At first, it was no turnover.
The kickoff. I gave you an analysis. I gave you my bold prediction, which was the kickoff for the touchdown, because the arrogance of the coach. You know, he like, hey, that was against Jackson State. We played them. They came return against our speed and our caliber.
Okay.
So I believe he gonna kick a punt to our return man.
So
and
the other stuff is
he gonna mess around and find out.
All right. So the other stuff was your analysis. First quarter, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make sure to move that out of there then. I remember what my bold prediction was. I think it had to do with it was a return touchdown, but I think I had said something about maybe Isaiah Major or Kendall Bowler having an interception return for a touchdown. So I will go back to the well with that since it didn't happen. I'm going to go for a pick six. And then if you ask me by who, I'll go Major. I'll go Major. Let me see. Who almost came up with one the last time? I'm going to say Bowler. I'm going to say Major or Bowler gets a pick six against USF. That's my bold prediction. So again, bold prediction. Marcus says Jeremy Musa passing for over 250 yards. Kelvin's going with a special teams touchdown. I'm going with a pick six. I don't know what the line is. We'll talk about the spread and how to play all that for anybody who's interested on Saturday afternoon. So, So again, if you're going to be in the Tampa area, please come out to the StrikeZone tailgate. Sponsored the Tampa alumni chapter will be having their strike tour. AD Sykes will be in the house. $250 minimum. Again, there's the flyer. There's the link. We'll make sure to retweet it. Come out from 3 to 6 p.m. Shake hands with AD Sykes. We'll be on site doing our pre-show. And who knows who might come sit down in the big chair. I mean, when you're that close to the O&G strike zone, can you really avoid us? Maybe. It won't be the first time, but, who knows? We'll see. It should be fun all the same. Shout out to Rick Kinsey, James Green, the Tampa alumni folks, Mike Reed, who's also, if you're interested, again, in some ticket opportunity.
Floyd Hill.
Yep. Oh, Floyd gonna be in the house?
Of course. He got his own tailgate going on. Sarasota in the house.
Oh, Sarasota's in the house. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, look. We look forward to all of the Rattlers that'll be in Raymond James on Saturday night, 7 p.m. kickoff. Should be a good time. I think I'm very eager to see how we improve from game 1 to 2. And I think that's going to be pretty impressive. I got a good feeling about this team and well coached. I think they'll be hungry. And this is, as Coach Simmons said, get paid, get a check game, something to that effect, he says. But this is a game that all of those seniors who have NFL aspirations, this is what the scouts are going to compare your film to. They're going to say, what does he look like against a Power 5 opponent? We're gonna look damn good. We're gonna look better than we looked 2 years ago, and that was a winnable ball game. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody who came in the chats. Thank you to our guests who joined us on the show. We're gonna look to do that more regularly and continue to flash those receipts out there in whether it be Instagram, social media, Twitter, or X, or wherever it is, Facebook. Let them folks know. And then eventually we'll move forward. But we still got a few days left of the Jackson State hangover, and then we can really start focusing on South Florida. So we'll do that in the next day or two. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. ONG Strike Zone, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is where you can find us. You can always email the show, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. Make sure you're following Marcus on Twitter. Make sure you follow Kelvin, and make sure you follow me. We appreciate it. For the guys, Marcus, Kelvin, I'm Brian. We'll see you Saturday afternoon in Tampa, Florida for the pre-show, and then we'll get ready for the striking of the Bulls on Saturday. Look, there's the new show name for Saturday, Striking of the Bulls. I love it. Just came up with something. Make sure to write that one down. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you in Tampa. Peace out.